I've decided to split the 100 multiple choice questions into 3 playlists, and I changed the title of the playlist a little bit. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to review this exam that you can find on the website. If you look at the other ones in the criminal law, it'll give you the exact link. Or you might have this, your school might have given it to you. I know my friend that's listening has the PDF. I just didn't want to leave anybody out. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this question 1 on contracts and answer that and start a contracts list and then start a torts list. Then I'm going to go back and clean up the criminal law list and kind of separate it out, because the playlists are getting way too long, and if you want to just go by subject, I think that would be better than the whole multiple choice. So here we've got Carl and Homer, question 1, that entered into a valid written contract under which Carl agreed to build a house on Homer's lot. Now Homer agreed to pay $150,000 on the house. The contract stated Homer's duty to pay shall not arise unless and until the house is constructed in full compliance with the attached specification. Now, in question 1, assume that shortly after commencing performance, Carl called Homer and he said half-inch rods for the foundation required in the specification were in short supply, but that quarter-inch rods were readily available. Homer replied, "Okay, go ahead and use the quarter-inch." A day later, before Carl had bought or installed the rods, Homer called and stated that Carl must use the half-inch rods. Carl refused to do so. The best analysis of the parties' legal rights is A. Homer waived his right to have half-inch steel, and his waiver cannot be retracted. Or B, Homer and Carl modified their contract, and okay, so, and then you can read that too. And then C, Homer waived his right to have half-inch rods, but he has retracted the waiver so that Carl must use the half-inch rods. And then D is Homer's statement, go ahead and use the quarter-inch, is not effective either as a modification or a waiver because Homer didn't expressly agree to modify or waive. So now, if you want to go ahead and pause it, I will tell you right now the right answer. And, okay, it's C. Homer waived his right to have the half-inch rods, but he has retracted the waiver, so Carl must use the half-inch rods. Now, I want you to look up at the fact pattern and notice that they talk about a valid written contract, and they talk about express conditions. And so promises and conditions are the topic that, oh, I haven't put it in yet, that this discusses. So let's take a quick look at express conditions and promises in a service contract. Okay? All right, well, let's see, performance and breach of contract. Express and implied contracts. Well, in this case, we have a express contract, right? And he waived it and then he retracted it. Okay? So it's the best answer because it expresses, or it states exactly what happened. He initially waived his right, and then he retracted the waiver. Okay, so that's basically what happened. You've got to know about conditions and promises, and there's actually a video in here explaining that. I actually put one in my playlist, not one that I did, but there's one in a playlist. So when you're looking at contracts, you want, oops, I'm trying to pull up the right thing here. I'm not going to go too long into this because I was just starting up the playlist, but basically you need to know about express, uh, you know, it's a contractor with an individual. It's not like a merchant and you know, you look at your contract as a service contract, and the specifications. His contract says it has to be constructed in full compliance with the attached specifications. So that's an express. It's express. It's written down. So yeah, okay. Well, I'll get back to these other ones later, and if you have any questions, put them in the box below. Again, I will be breaking up the playlist because the playlist is too long on these 100 questions. If you think about it, I'm going to be putting answers and explanations to 100 questions, so there'll probably be a little over 33 in each. Anyhow, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you, and have a nice day.